glad you could make it. When I saw you in town, I felt as giddy as a child. So, what's kept you away for so long? Planning to stay? I heard you got a pretty big job over in Mondstadt. How's that treating you? Yeah. That sounds awesome. I'm happy for you, you know? You worked really hard for this. As someone who also takes their job very seriously, I was stoked to hear you got such a solid position. Put that in your resume and you're set for life. I mean, not only did you get to work directly with the Dawn Winery in Mondstadt, but you worked hand in hand with the Farina up in Fontaine. What's next? Gonna redesign the Golden House? I jest. But on a serious note, I am so proud of you. You've come so far in such a short time. That deserves a reward. So, I bought your favorite dessert. I remembered you said you liked this, so I ordered some on the way. They aren't my favorite, but I was a little hungry, so maybe I got more than I should have. Sorry. I knew we were going to dinner and everything, but I wasn't sure how long it would take, or what kind of food we were getting, or... Honestly, I'm really glad you picked somewhere simple. I was worried I'd have to wait through multiple courses and wait for waiters and... That was stress I really didn't need today. So I appreciate that you just wanted to meet at one main restaurant. It's like you read my mind. Ah, right. I promise to take you on a real date soon, if you'll allow it. In all honesty, I wasn't so sure what to call this. We never really gave it a name, which is fine, but it does make situations like this a little tricky. Oh, speaking of, I promise I didn't tell anyone about this, so try not to stress yourself out over that. We're just meeting for a meal and a chat like we normally would. If anyone asks, that's all you should feel compelled to say. Regardless of who you're with and why, it is imperative you refuse to give away any more information than necessary when fraternizing. It can be tempting to overshare, but oftentimes you hardly know just who you're sharing to. That can be the thin line between a friendship and a negotiation. Say that alcoholic, for example. I noticed you've been chatting with him more since you've gotten here. Sharing your feelings and asking for advice? Just how acquainted are you? Are you sure he won't use that information against you in some way? Do not get me wrong, I appreciate that man for all he's done for me. But I am willfully cautious. He seems so wise, but says so little. Always sitting in the corner while we speak amongst ourselves, only interrupting when he feels conflicts start to brew. If we're being honest, despite our growing relationship, I fear Venti. His words are disguised. They float light in the air, then fall with the force of 1,000,000 tons, stabbing like a knife. He's got the inviting face of a parent, but his gaze is so sharp. A wolf in sheep's clothing does not always manifest itself in a killer. That man is smart. Too smart. So smart that he can't be read. So smart, he could get away with anything without being questioned so much as once. And it's as though I'm the only one who can see it. The others don't feel his daggered stare piercing into them when arguments start. It's as though there's so much he's capable of doing, but won't. That's what you like about him? The unpredictability. I can see how that could be useful when looking for a second opinion. You must offer fresh insight to situations. That's how he stops the fighting. But my gut tells me what I trust. He's dangerous, kind or not, wise or not. A bomb in hiding, waiting for the day he needs to explode. But I digress. No matter the danger, he is my friend nonetheless, and I respect him. When I received a letter asking me to join a band, I quite literally laughed out loud. I mean me, on an instrument. Are you serious? But the more I thought about it, the faster I seemed to realize that the art of creation was what was missing from my life. I'd gotten so bogged down with work at the time. There's this case that hasn't been solved. It's no urgent or pressing matter, but it bothers me. I feel like I have all the pieces I need to crack it, but every time I lay them out, one's missing. It's unbelievably frustrating, and people notice me getting discouraged. So they recommended I try something new. Then I got the letter, and I took it as a sign. Eventually, I'll have to return to life as it was. We'll all go our separate ways, and it'll be all business once again. When that time comes, would you like to be the creativity I need? It may keep me from going crazy racking my brain with political jargon. Besides, it's nice to have you around. No, you don't have to answer right away. I understand that you're a busy person, and I'm willing to give you all the time you need to prepare an answer. It would be a long trip after all. I could be days, weeks, even months away from cracking the case. That kind of commitment deserves true consideration. And if you decide against it, no harm done. I'll just have to find another excuse to keep you around. Don't take me so seriously. I'm not going to kidnap you or anything. It's just nice to have you around. So, what was your most challenging order recently? I'd like to hear all about your accomplishments and your troubles. Out of your own mouth for once. Oh, come now, is it really that surprising that I keep tabs on you? I need to know the status of the things that I care for. I would hate for something to happen in the seconds I'm not looking. I refuse to be blindsided. The same goes for people. I'm not making pointless small talk, you know? Every second I can spend getting to know you is valuable time. So come on, tell me all about it. I'm sure there's a client you've been dying to complain about. And there it is. Go on, I'm all ears. Oh, they did? Wow, you, my dear, are a stronger soldier than I. Your line of work is so demanding. Hardly something I'd expect from a career that seems so freeing. But it does make sense. As a designer, your job is to bring people's visions to life. But the way things go in your head isn't always achievable in real life. So compromises have to be made and feelings have to be hurt. In the event you have to let someone down and inform them that their ideas are impossible to recreate one-to-one, well, that must feel the same as it does for me when I have to explain to a family that a criminal is still on the loose. It's out of your control, but being the person to deliver the message, well, that can hurt as badly as receiving it. And knowing how deeply you care for this career, I can imagine it was hard to tell that kid no. Especially when their parents were willing to spend so much money. Did they at least end up being satisfied in the end? Was there any whining and complaining after you left? A bad review, perhaps? None at all. I suppose that also makes sense. Just because you can't get things the way you originally wanted, doesn't mean you can't have them. They'll just be different. And knowing you, that different was still exactly what that child dreamt of. I can relate. Your most difficult customer isn't always the one who whines and complains, and maybe the one you're the most fearful of letting down. I'm glad that worked itself out. Next question then. Your free time. What have you been doing with it? Hopefully it isn't always more work. I know you enjoy your job, but that doesn't mean you can go around neglecting your rest time. I was told you were brought here to go on outings like this and relax because of something stressing you out. What good is it to add more to the list of stressors? Speaking of, do you even know how to rest? I'm not so sure why it just hit me, but that was a skill that even I had to learn myself. When you invest so much into your craft, the art of rest doesn't always come naturally. It may feel taboo or even downright sinful to enjoy some time to yourself. But the truth of the matter is, it's necessary. If you don't learn to take a break, your body will do it for you at the most inconvenient time. You have to learn how to slow down. While I am happy you were able to get work in this city so easily, it saddened me to know that you use even your most precious vacation time to work. I see a lot of myself in you, you know? My, don't look so offended by that. Just what do you think of me? Anyway, I say that to say, you need to take care of yourself. There are so many people I know who would be willing to wait on you, hand and foot doting over your comfort. If that is true for others, why can you not hold yourself to the same standard? You deserve to give yourself more credit than others do, not the opposite. You've come so far. Why don't you count that as the work and take the time in the new place to let loose and see the world? You seem hesitant. Go on, I can tell there's more you wish to say. It's no good to leave emotions bottled up like that. It's starting to sour your expression. I think I understand. You don't want to be left alone with your thoughts, is that it? Bingo. I think I found it. You use work as a way to escape your real-world problems. That means that if you're using your work vacation as an excuse for more work, the thing on your mind is an issue with your last job, yes? The look on your face? Do you doubt my detective's intuition? Sadly for you, hun, you aren't exactly difficult to read. You work with predictable patterns, and I know enough to recognize them. But even if I didn't, you don't quite do enough to disguise your next move. For your own sake, I'm not going to ask who's stressing you out. That may break some confidentiality on your part anyway. Instead, I offer you my shoulder to lie on and my ears to rant to. I assure you nothing has changed. I'll be here for you whenever you need. And on the topic of things that you need, I'm mandating 2 weekly meals from you for the rest of your stay in Liyue. Why? Because you're overworking yourself, that's why. You clearly need someone to talk to, and you can't spend every single day working. If mandatory playdates are what you need, then they're what you'll get. Besides, it would be a lot of fun, right? Right? See, lie all you want, but that frown flipped upside down. It's settled then. Twice a week, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right here at Wanmin Restaurant. You're going to rest whether you like it or not. Now, shall we order? Seriously, I'm really hungry. Yes? All right.